Hello and welcome to Focus on Liberia. Ansony Sieh hosting. It is our program Focus on Liberia Spotlight. Focus on Liberia Spotlight is our program that we use to throw the spotlight on somebody doing something extraordinary, something marvelous, and we always try to throw the spotlight on one of our own. And today, Focus on Liberia is privileged to have a Liberian fashion designer. She is here. She is comfortably seated. You were listening to the watching the video. I was thinking, I'm like, wow, this is absolutely beautiful. But she's here, and we're gonna talk about it again. This is Focus on Liberia Spotlight, and we are broadcasting from our headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia. At this time, I will welcome our guest, our dear sister, if you like, Evangeline.
Hi.
Evangeline, welcome to Focus on Liberia. It's my
Thanks for
pleasure having
having
you.
me. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so very much. So, folks, as you heard from me, she is into fashion designing. She is designing beautiful, elegant, and classic clothing, especially for women, given what we know so far. And that is why we reach out to her and say, hey, that wish you're doing is so significant. It's big. We want to talk to you about it. What we try to do here is to hear from her, so that this can be an inspiration, a motivation for other Liberian citizens, and not only Liberian citizen, any Liberian citizen, everybody, to get into the line of work. I like to see, men, women dress, elegantly, modestly, right? But who is behind all that work? We don't know. And we have somebody to talk about that. Again, I can't say welcome enough. Let's get started. People are curious now. What's this guy talking? So talk to us quickly. I know in the video there you start to explain it at a very young age, your mother, but like you're from the horse's mouth again. How this all got started with you, and what do you want Liberians listening to you or our audience? What do you want them to know about you? That is introduction, please.
Well, the video noted or stated, I am Evangeline
Mhm.
Delaney, and I started fashion. I don't know if you would call it fashion, like I said in the video,
Right.
because I was so young at the time, and
Mhm.
I was just intrigued with the way my mom carried herself.
Mhm.
I was raised by a single mother. I had a dad, of course, who was around, but I spent majority of my upbringing years with my mom. She was a hardworking woman, or she is a hardworking woman. Um, and I just saw what she did with fabrics, the way she would tailor things, the way she would put them together. And so
Mhm.
I was really interested in knowing. I just got attracted to the craft. That's pretty much when it comes down to it.
Mhm.
I went to high school. I went to St. Teresa's Convent
Oh,
in
okay.
Monrovia, Liberia. That's where I went from kindergarten until I graduated from high school. And then, of course, right when I was like a senior, we had the Civil War in Liberia. So we had some setback there when it comes to graduating from high school. But eventually I graduated and then moved on to Zion Community College because at the time the University of LU LU was not open. So I went,
Mhm.
I didn't want to sit because I've always been that girl. I'm never that person who would just sit and just not do anything. I'm always finding things to do.
To do.
Even before Zion was open, the French institution was open. So I went there and I studied French. But then I studied computer science in Zion Community College for a few years, and then we had another unrest again. Octopus happened, so we had to get up and go again. And then when we came back, fortunately, during that time, the University of Liberia reopened, and I enrolled, and did economics was my major,
Okay.
and a minor in French because I had already gone to the French school and I
Mhm.
enjoyed the language. So I did all that, but I did not sway into actual studying fashion because, as you know, if you're from a Liberian household,
Right.
you can't tell your parents, I'm going to go to college and go and learn. Not in those times. I'm going to go to college and learn fashion design. They're going to be like, you either going to be an accountant or lawyer or doctor or engineer or something. So I did business. I started the interest in business because I've always loved running businesses. I always enjoyed that. Even when I was a very young girl, I would make the milk candy, the Kool-Aid, and sell it with my friends. So I always was intrigued with business. And I think I like that because I saw my mom do the same thing. This was a single mother who built, property houses just
Okay.
on her income
Mhm.
as a teller at Chase Manhattan Bank. So I've had that experience and that exposure to fashion, but I went through the normal thing that you and I would go through, any Liberian would go through in Liberia, coming up as a young person.
Right.
But then over the years, that desire kind of started to grow. And then, of course, I found myself in the United States, and I came on a scholarship, went to college. I didn't do fashion as well, even though the
Mhm.
university I attended did have the fashion department, but I didn't do that.
Mhm.
My degree is in international business and economics, um, and then I minor in finance.
Mhm.
So that has really helped me in growing my business. But then over time, when people see what I will wear, what I will put together, they were intrigued, and so I'm like, "There's something here." And then I launched the brand in 2014 when I lived in Houston, Texas.
Okay. So earlier, you said it all started in 2014, right? But at the time, you were not putting that much time in until later on.
Right.
So what sparked that, more time putting into it that, hey, I think I need to put more time into it now.
I really think I was pushed, to be quite honest,
Okay.
because in 2014 when I launched the brand, I was still in corporate America. I was working at HR company,
Right.
and I was still doing the fashion.
Hmm.
And I started taking, services to do work for people and get paid just on the
Right.
side.
Okay.
But when I moved, I remarried and I moved to the Virginia, where I'm currently living right now, in the
Hmm.
Virginia area. And where I came from, I did HR, and I was like, I'm not coming to the Virginia and do something that's going to be below my pay grade. I was
Right.
not just going to do it. So
Hmm.
I couldn't find work. I just couldn't find jobs that I would want to be in.
Right.
So I started to pursue the fashion more. And so I built an online platform. I
Hmm.
started selling from Etsy. And then gradually I built my own website. And things just went from there, referrals. If you do a good job, people will talk about it. You do a bad job, people will talk about it. And so because I put my time and my effort, and because I'm committed to the craft to the point where, I mean, I love it so much
Right.
that I would, even if I didn't get paid to do it, I would still do it.
You
That's how
still
much
do.
I'm passionate about it. And so that kind of translated through the things that I did.
Hmm.
And of course, people would talk. And then it just started to blow up from there. And people started telling their friends about it, and then I started getting out there, and it just got really huge.
So right now, you say it's huge. How huge it is right now in terms of people buying, in terms of how much coming in, and I also want to know, is this the only work you are doing now?
Yeah, this is my source of income. This is my only source of income.
Hmm.
And I say huge because huge can be relative, it's
Hmm.
subjective.
Right.
But I have a huge following in terms of the people who cater to me. So I'm not only in the Liberian space. I
Right.
was able to launch my designs in Macy's in 2020, in 2019. So I
Okay.
had a different platform that was exposed to my brand. And
Exactly.
then come this year in February, I launched out of the Dubai Mall. So I
Oh
consider
wow.
that that's huge for me because, I would have never thought about it.
So you are getting orders from Mercy and the Dubai Mall as we speak and other
Well,
places?
Macy's had
Hmm.
the COVID kind of shut everything down.
I know.
So we didn't, but fortunately for me, even though it was a negative thing in a sense, but
Hmm.
I think it was positive because it was out of that collaboration that I got the connection from Dubai. So I'm
Okay.
currently in the Dubai Mall, and it's in a connection with a company called Ally Express. We
Hmm.
just collaborated. So the design, they run the boutique
Hmm.
in the Mall of Dubai,
Right.
and then some of my fashion bags are there. Some of my
Hmm.
fashion pieces are in their slot.
Hmm. And folks listening to us, this is Focus on Liberia Spotlight. We are in conversation with Evangeline, and she's a fashion designer. She having to be a Liberian. We are proud of her, and this is why we are having this conversation. You heard her, some of her designs are all the way in Dubai. Come to think about it, and you might be curious to see some of those. We have them here. She has a website. We're going
Yeah.
to display that website later on so you can see the work that she is doing. Let me come back to this is a company now that you are running.
Yeah.
Talk to me. Who all are involved in terms of staff? What role do they play, and what role do you play with this work now?
Right now, I am the head designer and
Hmm.
I'm the operating director. So I manage all the operations in the business. I do
Hmm.
have a team of people that
Okay.
help me. I have an admin assistant. I have um, a social media manager. I
Hmm.
have a website manager. So all
Hmm.
those people come together. They help us run smoothly
Hmm.
because in order to run a business and be successful at running, especially online, and you need your data.
Right.
You need to understand what people are interested in. You need to understand how the numbers are running, how the numbers are playing when it comes to traffic to the website, and things like that. So I do have a team of people, but I make all the creative decision when it comes to the type of designs that I do. At this point, that's just all me. So every piece that come out, it's from my creativity. Everybody else is just helping to run the operations in terms of admin assistance, social media presence, and and making sure the website continues to run smoothly and things like that.
Every complaint, I would say, prioritizes training because without training, the job will not be done.
Yeah.
Talk to me the training aspect of it, the team of individuals working with you. I would think you the one doing the training, and talk to me how they see the training and how long does it take for any of them to be able to design or dress, for example.
Well, right now they're not in that role. I'm the only
Okay.
person in that role doing
Hmm.
designing and all that. So they're not doing any of that. They're just operations,
Okay.
making sure things run smoothly.
Hmm.
We do have Monday meetings where we discuss strategies,
Okay.
new aspect that we're going to focus on,
Hmm.
and all this is based on the data feed that we get from people engaging with our products on social media or
Hmm.
on our website. So, but right now, as far as the designing itself, like my designs,
Hmm.
I'm the only person who's doing the designs at this point.
So, do you have any plan to teach some people how to do some design because you might be getting a lot of orders, and
Well,
maybe you might
yeah.
need help
Well, designing is one thing because you can sit on paper and sketch.
and sketch?
I
Okay.
do have I have three manufacturers because I got two that do the bags and
Hmm.
then one for the clothing. And then
Okay.
I have a part-time one that comes on every now and then depending on what I need.
Okay.
But as far as the manufacturing, because the manufacturer just wants to make sure you design it on paper
Hmm.
and they transfer that data onto digital print and
Right.
then they can produce it.
They
So
carry
it's
on
the
the production.
machine doing the work. So they're
Oh,
not sitting there sewing, like
okay.
that. Now I do like the craft. I enjoy sewing. For me, it's suiting for me, it's satisfying, it's fulfilling for me. So every
Hmm.
now and then I will sew when something come creative in my mind, I will sew. But as far as making the pieces, I have
Hmm.
manufacturers who are doing that.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the designing part is just sketching, getting the
Yes.
idea on paper
Hmm.
and then the pattern maker takes that idea, or first the technical designer takes that idea
Hmm.
and put it into the technical terms so the pattern maker can make the pattern from that technical term.
Hmm.
And then the manufacturer use the patterns to make the design, sketch, put on the machine, make it, digitize it, and then produce it in bulk quantity.
Great. So, how many manufacturers, as we speak, you in partnership with, if you don't mind?
I have three. One of them is like a part-time because I do bags, leather
Mhm.
bags.
Right.
So I have two for the leather bags,
Hmm.
and then I have one for the clothing. But there's a fourth one who every now and then, depending on, because what people don't understand is you can have a manufacturer for sporting clothing, like
Hmm.
leisure, and that manufacturer cannot make your, like regular clothes, like what I'm wearing. So
Hmm.
I have a manufacturer who does the regular clothes and then the sporting things that I offer, like this track suits and stuff. I have a different manufacturer. So every now and then, if I need them on board to do something, they do that. So total full in a sense.
All right. And the video we played earlier, something you said, the clothes that have been designed, they are mainly women clothing. All right, let me read something here. Dressing women in exclusive fashion, clothes that are classic, elegant, and modest. And I think somewhere you said, you know, you design these kind of clothes for people who are intrigued by, designs from the 90s, I mean 1920s
Right.
and
Yeah.
all that. So what I wanted, why this type of design, why are you designing this kind of clothes? Because nowadays in this time, people want to show a little more of their body, but you are like, no, let's go back a little
Right.
bit. There are some designs that people appreciated many years ago.
Right.
Let's bring it back. Why?
Well, for me, I am a classy lady. I am a
Hmm.
classy lady, and
Hmm.
for me to produce anything out there to kind of represent me, it
Hmm.
has to speak from me.
Hmm.
It has to come from me.
Right.
And so for me, elegance can still be sexy. You
Okay.
can be nicely dressed and
Mhm.
still be sexy.
Okay.
Because sex doesn't mean exposure. That's not what sexy is. For a classy woman,
Hmm.
you don't have to be exposed to be considered classy.
Hmm.
Okay. And so I'm attracted to those type of designs. I
Hmm.
love those type of things. I like to see women. For me, I think a woman speaks on another level when
Right.
she's properly dressed
Hmm.
and still be sexy. Okay, I'm not saying you can wear a mini skirt. You can wear a mini skirt, but do it modestly.
Hmm.
So, because I'm into the a vintage type of fashion, and
Right.
I'm focused on a classic lady who is still sexy, because you can be elegant and still sexy.
Hmm.
That's why I focus on that, because I believe back in those days when women dress,
Hmm.
when they walk into the room, they didn't have to be vulgar. They didn't have to say much. Their
Hmm.
clothes did all the talking for them. Their body language did all the talking for them. And I think we can still represent that today. Okay, so I'm a classy lady, so of course that's what I put out there.
I can relate to this a little more because I see myself kind of old school guy, and so when my eyes started opening, to Western way of dressing, and now and then I'm like, really? And then I have people telling me, hey, we are in the news. So that is why this is important to me. But what I see here is that you are saying, hey, the way women dress nowadays, doing a little bit of exposure, it's okay.
Yeah,
But even if you cover your body, you can
yeah,
still be sexy.
yeah.
I see that it's a little bit of argument here, with these two different ways of dressing. Uh, is it penetrating? Your modesty, the classic, is it penetrating this time?
Oh yeah, I have a this is the thing.
Hmm.
And that's why you have to understand who you are as a business owner and who you attract for
Right.
your clientele. So
Hmm.
everybody, I don't think you want to run a business where you serve everybody. You
Okay.
can't. You have to choose and know the people you go after and be okay with it. There's nothing
Hmm.
wrong with that.
Okay.
So the people who's attracted to that form of dressing, who like stuff like that, they're
Right.
attracted to my brand, and I have a good following. So it doesn't mean that the lady who wants to be exposed to the
Hmm.
nightclub yesterday doesn't like to be classy. So she can have both worlds. She can be exposed, she can do whatever she want to do, but at the same time, she can choose some classic pieces that she can use to represent her in other areas. So it doesn't mean that, but I do have my following. I understand my customer avatar, and I have honed in on them, and
Yeah.
they are attracted to what I put out there. So yeah, I don't think there's a confusion there, because I've studied the people that I serve, and I
Hmm.
know who they are at this point.
Yeah, my management just informed me that the word I use, penetrating, is not it's not the right word. They
Okay.
want me to use the word resonating.
Yeah.
People mind changing. So I just want to put it out there. So
Okay. And just to correct that, I don't want to change anybody's mind. I only want to attract the people who like what I have. I don't want to change your mind. Now, if
mhm,
your mind changes because you see some of the stuff I put out there, that's
Right.
perfect as well. But I'm not there to change people. I'm just to attract the people who like what I have.
All right. Let me, before we get to the website, I'm going to show you an image here, three, by the way. This one, I see that, and I captured it from the website.
Mhm.
Uh, this couldn't be any more elegant than anybody will ask, right? And the beauty is still that the woman is still the woman
Yeah.
anybody will stare at. And so for those who are not used to that, I think you are trying to convince them here. How do you convince the person? I know you said you can convince everybody,
Yeah.
but it is best if you can win other people because this is a very good faction. It doesn't take anything away from the woman. I think it gives the woman everything, and some people don't see it like that. So, what do you tell any such person?
Well, the thing is, I mean, there's nothing wrong with going outside your comfort zone. If you
Mhm.
dress one way, there's nothing wrong with trying something new and
Right.
see how you like it.
Hmm.
But the whole thing, when it comes down to it, you just have to be comfortable in who you are and what you wear.
Right.
So I mean, like I said, I don't like to make people do what they don't want to do, but
Hmm.
I'll still encourage you to try it. Try something new, see if you like it, see if that kind of speaks to your soul. And there's nothing wrong with going both ways. You can be that elegant woman at one day and then be somebody else the next day. It's up to you. Um,
But do you see any trend picking up, going back to classic, elegant, and models? The kind of dresses, and you do so or design some pants too for women because when I'm watching some of these shows where you have these B stars celebrity go, I see that they are like going back, but somehow in the middle. Do you see a trend picking up?
Yeah, fashion is always changing.
Hmm.
One thing can be a trend today,
Hmm.
and tomorrow it's not. That's just what fashion is. Um, so you might see some things coming back,
Hmm.
and then you don't see them no more. That's just the nature of the industry. It's gonna pick up steam, go on for a while. Sometimes it'll last longer than others, but yeah, those things happen all the time. Right now there is a thing. If you go on YouTube, a lot of the videos now that these young women are making, it's
Hmm.
all about the classy woman. How can you be a classy woman? And most of them are saying, less is more. More nice sleek things. You don't have to wear too tight of a pants to be classy. So I've seen a lot of that over the last, I would say, 6 months, since I've been watching. A lot of women want to be more classy women. So it could be, yeah, that's something that's really coming up. But as a fashion designer, you choose your lane and you perfect it. That's what you do. It's almost like with Givenchy or Vera Wang. They choose their lane and they stay there and they perfect it. So they're known for that thing. So when people talk about certain things, they're like, okay, Vera Wang is known for this. That's how fashion do. So, but there will be new people coming up and bringing new ideas and new things, and that's just what the industry is all about. Changes.
All right. We can, for every success, there is always, a challenge, or there are
Yeah.
always challenges. So now, before you get to the success period, you experience some challenges. And
Mm.
that is important too. Before somebody thinks that, oh, this is all rosy, I can start today, I'll be there.
No.
Yeah, so let's talk about the challenges that you have to encounter as a designer and as a business owner as well to get to where you are now.
Okay, so let's establish that challenges never ever go away. No matter how successful you are, you will
Mhm.
face challenges every single day, and
Mhm.
sometimes several challenges throughout the day.
Mhm.
Um, that's the first thing. But one of the major challenges I had in the beginning of this is the fact that I'm not a traditionally trained fashion designer. I
Okay.
didn't go to a traditional school, fashion school, and learn. the craft. I had to learn it on my way. And as I said in the previous video, because that video is like a synopsis of who I am and what the brand
Right.
is. Um, if I had to make a particular like pants for a
Mhm.
very long time, I didn't make women's pants or any pants for that matter
Mhm.
because I just didn't understand the dynamics behind it. I didn't understand the logic, the technical part of it. I didn't know. And in creating any design for it to fit the body right, you have to be able to apply the technicality to it, the theory, everything. You can know the theory, but you still have to put the technical parts to it.
Right.
And the way certain zippers were laid, the way the buttons were laid, the way the darts are placed in the pants, you have to understand the technicality of all that to make it really work. So
Mhm.
you can see a beautiful, you know how you go to the store sometimes and you put in a pair of pants and you're like, I don't like the way this pants fit. It's
Yeah.
because the way that pants was technically designed, it was not shaped or cut for your body type. So
Right.
of course it's gonna fit you a little different. But somebody else might wear that pants and say, this is a good fit for me. So that's where the technicality comes in when it comes to seaming and darts and all that. And I didn't understand that because I didn't go to school for those things. I just learned along the way. And that was one of the hurdles because in order for me to go and just make a pair of pants, I had to go and study how you place because the way darts are placed in a curvy body for the women who got the big hips and big butt is totally different the way you would place it for a white chick who doesn't have a bottom, like a
Mhm.
booty.
Yeah.
So I had to understand all those things. And for my market, I'm more with the curvy girls. So I had to understand because it's more challenging when you fixing something like that. So that was my issue. I had to learn before I do.
Mhm.
Whereas if I had gone to traditional school, I would have understood all those things. I would have been trained on those things. I would have understand how fabric works, and then
Mhm.
I don't have to learn before I come and implement because I would have already learned. So it took me 2 times as much compared to someone who went to a fashion school. So that was the challenging part. So I invested in trainings. I did
Mhm.
YouTube trainings. I paid for online trainings. I bought books. I studied pattern making. I mean, I did everything you can think about because I wanted to learn the craft because I love it. And what people don't understand is not because you have a talent for something, that means you know it. You still have to perfect it. You still have to train on it to get good at it. So that was my challenge. Now that's the fashion side. Now when it comes to the business, of course I have a business degree, but we all know that what you get taught in school is not 100% what you bring into the real world.
Right.
Experiences will teach you what to do in the real world, whereas the school gives you the foundation to understand the jargons, to understand the theory and things like that. But the practical part, you have to be working in the business, make those mistakes, and then correct them. So that's a daily challenge, understanding who your target market is. I had to do training to understand how to tailor your avatar, to tailor your target market. I had to understand how psychographics work when it comes to understanding the people who may potentially buy from you. So all those things are things that I deal with on a daily basis. But I would say my major struggle was when I had to make those pieces for Macy's. At
Hmm.
that time, I did not have a manufacturing company on board because I was not making enough money to hire a manufacturing company. And at that time, I hadn't done enough research to know that I could manufacture outside the country and it was going to be cheaper. So I was looking at manufacturing company in the US and they're both expensive. Just the sample alone
Mhm.
sometimes can run you $400 just to get the sample. And
Mhm.
sample just means, is this what you want?
Mhm.
Because it could be all wrong. The sample could come and it'll be totally all wrong. Then you have to pay for another sample to get it right because it's not free. You have to pay again to get it. And so when I did Macy's, when I negotiated with Macy's, I was afraid to do Macy's, by the way. But when I negotiated to work with Macy's, and they told me that I needed, for each design that I was bringing into the store, I needed to have at least 4 to 6 sizes of each design. That took me about that was a total of almost 100 pieces,
Wow.
and I had to sit and make every single piece on my own. The day I shipped the last box
Mhm.
from Macy's, I was trembling, I was shivering because
Did I get this right?
I had worked,
Would it like it?
yeah, I had worked 36 hours straight, no sleep. I was just on caffeine.
Hmm.
because I wanted that lot. Because they had a deadline. They said in order for the thing got launched on the 7th, I had to have it there by June 28th.
And
So
you were
when
doing all this all by yourself.
all by myself. My husband helped me. My daughter at that time, I started to train her. At that time, she was like, what, 13?
Mhm.
12 and a half. I taught her how to put buttons on stuff. So she started to put the buttons because some of the designs have button down. And
Mhm.
so she had helped me. But all the sewing was just me.
Right.
And when I left that, that's when I said, I'm never, ever going to do this in my life anymore.
Boom.
And so I started to push to make more money to be able to finance or pay for manufacturing. And I must say, my business hasn't taken on any debt. I haven't gone to the bank to borrow no money. The business builds itself. So whatever I make, I put it back into the business and keep growing the business. I haven't gone out to take any debt. Because people were like, why you didn't take a loan to do this? And it's good. There's nothing
Mhm.
wrong with that. But I just didn't want to have debt in the beginning of
Right.
building.
Wow. Folks, this is Focus on Liberia Spotlight. We are in conversation with Evangeline, who is a fashion designer. The program you are watching is Focus on Liberia Spotlight. We use this program to throw the spotlight on one of our own doing something extraordinary, and she is doing something extraordinary. She's a designer. Her designs are all the way in Dubai, in Messi, in the USA. Uh, Let me follow up on the challenges here. You are in the US, very diverse country. Now, your products or your designs are going to Dubai. Taking culture into consideration here with the design. I know you said mainly when you started, you are looking at the virtual woman, if I can put it that way. But you have going to Mercy. You have Caucasian women who don't have what we have. So you have to take that into consideration. And who knows, China Bambines, you know how physically how they look.
Right.
All those things you have to take them into consideration. Height and all that. Talk to me about that, the cultural aspect that you have to take into consideration for the people, because you're not designing for one group of people.
No. And yeah, so that's why I always stress, because the question you asked is it's a good one, because in the beginning people will always be like, I thought you were African designer, and I'm like, don't label me as an African designer, because that's not what I am.
Mhm.
I'm a fashion designer who creates design based on the vintage aspect
Mhm.
of the industry.
Mhm.
So any canvas can be used to create my design. I can use African print to do that. I can use westernized print to do that.
Mhm.
The fact remains, they're vintage inspired designs. Okay. Yeah, I do throw my heritage in there. I do throw my ethnicity in there. And I do have some African pieces. But if you go through my collection on my website, it's not all African pieces. Okay, so I do take that in consideration, and that was something that I thought about way when I first started the brand. As a matter of fact, when I launched V Chic Design, I didn't have one African piece in my collection, not
Mhm.
one. When the market started to detect and tell me what to do, so I started to do more African type pieces, because I said at that time I was bringing on more of my Liberian group of people, and that's what they wanted. So I started to do that, but I did not forget the original thing that types of fabric I enjoy working with.
Mhm.
I enjoy working with challenging things, and I think that's just the thing about me that makes me enjoy doing like a chiffon or silk or satin versus
Mhm.
just cotton, because cotton prints are easy to work with. They don't move as much, they don't slip. Whereas with the chiffon and the silk, they keep on moving. It's harder to work with them. The patterns change, they move when you make them. They might be one size. If you don't understand the technicality behind it, you could put in the wrong seaming, the wrong inches, and by the time you finish making it, that's why you go to some people that are like, okay, she can sew African thing, but I took this lace dress and it just got messed up, because she doesn't understand how fabric works.
Mhm.
The way the cotton fabric moves is different from the way the silk fabric will move.
Right.
So you have to take all those things into consideration. And so I do understand those things, and that's why I don't cater to only the African print. Like for example, when I did Macy's, I didn't have one African design in there, because that was not the market for it. So I didn't have any African prints in there. I did the same westernized, but still when it comes down to it, was vintage inspired, designs, you know. So I'm able to pivot and do these things because I'm not set in one place and say I only know how to work with the African print or the cotton fabric. I can work with different types of fabric.
All right, folks. Focus on Liberia Spotlight. At this time, we're going to display your website. And I know I told folks earlier that you even design bags so they can get a glimpse of all the beautiful things that you design. Folks, the website is what I'm displaying here. You can click on the link in the Facebook feed and also in our YouTube feed here, and then you will be able to see what we're talking about. But we're going to display the website here quickly so that folks can see what we're talking about. So this is your website. I see here when you come to categories here on the far left, you see new arrivals, you see pants, you see shirts, you see tops, jumpsuits, then something for leggings, dresses, sharp. So folks, so let's go to the pants a little bit here, and let's see if folks can see some on there. So talk to me here. So we are on your website. I see these classic pens being designed by you, and they are all here. And by the way, I see different pictures too. Are you in one of these pictures? I think so. Talk to us.
That's all me.
All you. Wow. Yeah. So we see the process as well, right? So when someone goes on the website, they see the name of the design, they see the price as well. This is all you. And how come who you are, matches every design? How about that?
Because that's my design. I would think it would match me.
All right, so let me do this. So folks, as you can see, if you go to the website and I did share the link for you, again, far left, you go to category. We just show you some pants. So let's come to skirt so folks can see. So you see, I mean, how elegant can this be? No, I mean, you can't beat this, folks. There you have it. She's taking everything into consideration. So that's just some skirts there. Let's see which one is tapped. I'm an old school guy. Let's see. Oh, there you go. There you go, folks. So we share the website. It's in the Facebook and YouTube feed there. You can go and then you will see. If you are African like me, you're looking for something, there you have it. Yeah, you have it. And the prices are all there, very affordable. These are all designed by Evangeline. And so let's go to the jumpsuit here and see some. There you see. Yeah, at the jumpsuit. I think I need to get one jumpsuit. I think I need to get one. So, folks, the website is there. Everything that you need to see, you will be able to see it. I see leggings. Oh, wow. How about that, folks? So go on the website and you will see what we're talking about. You will see what she's talking about. No wonder why, her designs are all the way in Dubai and Mexico, because these are classic. These are world class. And I can see that she has taken every culture into consideration. I don't think it matters where you come from. You're just gonna love this. If you are somebody who loves something that is classic, something that is elegant, this is all yours. This is all yours. And I think if you spend your money, you should have no regret whatsoever. Well, folks, at this time, we will be coming to your comments. So if you have a question for Evangeline, place it in both the Facebook and the YouTube field, and I will display it on the screen. And then she will be able to answer your question. So before I go to the comment, projects. Have you had projects? I know the Mency one you talk about, but besides that, are there other projects? Has a group come to you, or maybe somebody getting married? What's it called? Prom. I mean, projects from people for occasion. Have you had anything like that before?
Oh yeah, I've gotten a whole bunch of that, but I I kind of stay away from that. That was how I actually started, to be quite honest. I was doing a lot of those
Mm-hmm.
in our industry. We call them custom orders
Mm-hmm.
or custom requests. So I started doing that, but then it started to become too troublesome, and it was too
Mm-hmm.
much time for the
Right.
money that I was making. So I still do that, but I rarely do it, and then I choose the people I want to work with when it comes to doing any custom orders.
Okay. All right. So now let's go to the comments and see what our audience saying right here. Let's hear from Evangeline Hill. Very, very good. She writes. Let's hear from Flomo Livingston. Is your fashion design only focused on female? That is a
Right now,
question.
yes.
Okay. And then yeah, from Flomo Livingston again. Do you have a store in Liberia, or are you planning or opening store in Liberia?
I don't have a store in Liberia. As a matter of fact, I was just there in April
Mm-hmm.
to do a feasibility study, and it's not I don't think it's ready for me right now. And
Okay.
like I told you in the beginning, that a lot of the financial burden is on me.
Mm-hmm.
So before I invest my money anywhere, I got to make sure it's secure, just so I can get return on my investment.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not. I don't see it yet. Doesn't mean it's impossible, but
Okay.
it's not in the future plans yet.
Okay. Let's hear from Timothy. It seems that you have a very religious upbringing. Correct me if I am wrong.
Not really. I actually grew up as a, regular Christian. Mom went to Methodist. I went to Methodist church. I
Mm-hmm.
went to St. Teresa Convent, a Catholic school.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think they're probably tying it back to the fact that the design is modest, but
Mm-hmm.
no, it's just that I think it's classy, that it has nothing to do with my religious upbringing.
Okay. All right. Let's hear from Chris here. Hey, I am a designer from LA. Love this conversation. I think that right now we are at a crossroad between selling sex and class. Both are trending right now and are also a bit contradictory.
That's a fact. That is a fact. But then you just have to choose. Like when we said, I said you just have to choose, because you can be a sexy girl today and tomorrow you be a classic girl. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mhm.
But you just have to choose what lane you want to be in and stick there. And for me as a fashion designer, that's where I am. I'm more like a classy girl versus a sex selling person. So, but sex does sell. That's a fact.
Okay. And then Chris again, very true. Faction Design School was definitely an asset that I
That's
am grateful
great,
for.
Chris. That's awesome. Yeah, it is an asset.
Right. Let's hear from Mark Freeman. I am so proud of you, girl. You made my day.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah. Let's hear from Chris again. I love the patterns on the website. We have similar tastes. Nice collection.
Yes, let's connect. Hit me
Uh,
up after, we can connect there.
yeah. Let's hear from Eugenia Jar. She's a classic designer.
Thanks, Eugenia.
Um, Mark again, what is the name of the website? Well, we display the website. Mark, I will display it again for you to see. Let's hear from Grace here. Great job, sister. Let God continue to bless your hard work.
Thank you.
Yeah, Eugenia is back. Can you pin her website, please? I am interested. And then she came back to say, beautiful designs. Yeah,
Thanks.
so let me pin the website. Yeah, it is. It's in the Facebook field. Then, management, can you pin that website for us? I can get to it. Management gonna do that. So, respond generally to all the comments.
Well, I just want to say thank you. They were really encouraging words there. And I saw a couple of people that hopefully we can connect
Mhm.
somehow. The other, I think Chris, he's a fashion designer as well.
Yeah, that's
We
what he
can
said.
connect or something
Mhm.
like that. But I really do appreciate all your feedback, wonderful
Mhm.
comments,
Mhm.
and hope we can meet someday.
Yeah, I know. So we have a question here for you from Hamilton. What is the starting point if you want to be a fashion designer? That's a big one.
Well, the starting point is your desire, your passion.
Hmm.
Because, like I told you when we were interviewing, I said
Hmm.
this was something that I did. Even if I didn't get paid for it, it just it's something that's in my soul that I love. So you have to have the love for it, but passion alone cannot stand. So you have to have that grit. You have to be able to put your 1,000% in. So, but the first place you want to start is have the love for it. And then if you're not technically trained like I was, then you may want to start doing some courses and classes and understanding how the design work, because you do have to understand the technical part of it if you really want to know it, because sometimes you can be run a fashion design business but don't be a fashion designer. But then you have to understand what people are doing, so when they're making mistakes you can correct it and things like that. And let me give you an example. There was one time I put in for manufacturing for some stuff that came, I think they were tops or skirts.
Right.
I put in for 50 pieces. When they came, they were all not to my liking.
Okay.
But because I'm a fashion designer, I know how to sew. I was able to correct everything.
Right.
I didn't have to send all those 50 back. I was able to sit on my machine and make the correction. So in as much as you can run a fashion business and don't be a designer, but you need to understand what's going on so you can step in when you need to.
All right. Our time is over. We want to say thank you for accepting our invitation and making us to understand your work you're doing. Absolutely, this is something very good. We all wear clothes, but to get to listen to somebody who is doing the design, I have my coat on here. I feel like a human being. Somebody did that design. And sometimes we don't care to think about it, but today you give us the opportunity to listen to somebody who is in designing and doing the actual work. What I want you to do, those who are listening to you now, what is one thing you will let them to take away from all that you say here concerning, fashion design?
Let me twist that a little bit and don't make it all about fashion, but
Okay.
just anyone who's listening, because people see this and they might have dreams and hopes and things that they want to do, but they're afraid to push and move forward. I want to encourage anyone who's listening today that there's nothing wrong with pushing and going for what you want. You just got to be committed 100%. And those dark days will come, but you got to be able to crawl out of there and and keep going. So it can be fashion that you want to start. It can be, you want to be a mechanic. I mean, just anything that your heart is so passionate about, go after it. Because like I say, sometimes I laugh and joke with my friends. I'm like, I wish I had done fashion design in college because the opportunity was there. I just didn't choose it. But then again, I did business, which I'm using some of the technique, the theory and things in my business right now. But don't sit back when you're 80 years old or 75 years old and be like, dang, I wish I had done that. Go after it. People will laugh at you. Everybody's not going to be 100% on board with you, but believe in yourself to the point where you can take a bet on yourself. And so that's what I would leave with.
Thank you, and thank you so very much, folks in cyberspace. This is how we will come to the end of this exclusive with our own sister, Evangeline, who is a fashion designer. I hope you were able to learn about what she's doing, and I also hope you're going to look up her website and direct people there so that they can get some beautiful dresses, pens, and just about everything that she designs are on the website. We will certainly appreciate that. Again, thank you for coming.
And I appreciate you for having me. Thank you.
All right. Folks, that will do it for us. And we usually don't close our broadcast here without playing you our song that says, "We are all Liberians." I mean, come to think about it. Yes, we are. A Liberian is a fashion designer. Her fashions are a messy. All right. Her fashions are in Dubai. Can you imagine that? This is focused on Liberia. We educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. And if you have been wondering what these people talking about, promote, this is one of our promotion, where we identify somebody doing something extraordinary from our community or from any other community or any part of the world. And we bring it to us, all of us, so that it can be an inspiration, so that it can be a motivation. I hope you got it today. Thank you and enjoy the song. We are all Liberians, and indeed we are. Thank you and bye-bye.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our